Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook, now Meta, walked into a board meeting one time and said, "Hey everybody, this meeting's really expensive, let's get started." So the best way to start a team meeting, in my opinion, is to walk in and say, hey, our time is really, really precious. This meeting has the potential to be fantastic. Let's get into it. So in this video, I'm gonna share what I think is the #1 variable that if you're hosting gatherings or leading meetings in any capacity, the #1 variable that you have control over to edit the outcome and the process of any given meeting. And I cannot wait to share it with you. This is what I get to do for a living with some of the smartest leaders and educators on the planet. And so I'm gonna share a little snippet of what I've learned from my 10,000 hours, if you will, with you in this video. Let's get into it. Connection before content is the best way to start a meeting. And here's some evidence. There's research done at Johns Hopkins University where surgical teams were trying to reduce the number of medical errors and deaths that occurred in that surgery. It's a good, noble effort. They tried all these different interventions, and in the research, one of the interventions that had the most profound impact and actually reduced medical errors by 36% and reduced deaths by 50%. They didn't call it connection before content, but it was. What they did is everybody who was involved in the surgery that day stood in a circle and went around and just simply shared their name, their role in the surgery that day, and the prompt or the question was, what concerns, if any, do you have for this particular surgery today? And just those going around and doing those introductions reduce medical errors and deaths quite significantly. Now, most of you, and if you're watching this video, you're probably not in the business of surgery, but you are always at risk of your meeting dying, right? The amount of people that I work with that say, that meeting should have been an email, or the amount of people that walk out of meetings wondering, why was I actually in that meeting? Why were half of us in that meeting? What was the point of that? What was the purpose? Is really high. It's way too high. And so I'm recording this video in hopes that anybody who finds it on the internet can eradicate useless meetings and make them more purposeful. And one really effective tool to do that is connection before content. In the surgical teams, what they created was this surgical checklist, right? So it's like you gotta do introductions and here's a number of other things that you gotta do. So my connection before content checklist is 3 ingredients. At the beginning of your meeting, you've got to do something that allows people to connect to each other, #1. #2, you've got to, and this is the most often missed one, you've got to connect to the purpose of why you're actually in that meeting. If you only take one thing from this video, take this away. The most simple, profound way that you can start a meeting is with a question. Ask a powerful question that allows people to connect to each other and the reason why they're actually there. So let's say the reason you're there is just for a annual report out of numbers. I recently was working with an energy company and I asked them, what's the purpose of your next important meeting? And they said to restart a pipeline that's currently not getting gas to people. So the connection before content for that meeting is, hey everybody, this meeting's really important. To get started, can everybody think about the last pipeline restart meeting that they had? And can you just share one thing that went really well about it and one thing about that meeting that did not go well? And real quick, so that we can get all this content out and ensure that our meeting goes well, we're just gonna whip around in a group of 6 people or 3 people, however many people are in the meeting, and share what went really well about the last pipeline restart meeting and what went really poorly. And just by doing that, connecting before content, you've already started the meeting. You're allowing people to connect and share as human beings, but really you're saying, hey, how can we have the best possible meeting in the next 60 minutes? And that is invaluable. And the third ingredient, the third checklist item is it's got to give people the choice or option for authenticity or vulnerability, which is just big words for, does it give people a chance to tell the truth? The best way to start a meeting is by inviting people to share something that is A, true for them and important or meaningful to them. Your prompt ideally should be empathetic enough to tap into what's important to people. And really simply, the mode is ask a question. Ask a question that fills in your purpose. So here's 2 example or template questions. You ready? What is something you know about blank? In the blank, you fill in the purpose of your gathering. What is something you know about pipeline restarts? What is something you know about, I don't know why you're meeting, this is a YouTube video. You fill in the purpose, and I guarantee if you start off your meeting with this question instead of however you normally start off your meeting, the people in your meeting will be more engaged, more present, they'll feel seen, heard, understood, and valued because they've been able to contribute in the first 5% of a gathering also. If you want 2 other template questions, you can pause and check these out as well. Or Or your question might just be completed and tie into purpose naturally, something like this. What keeps you going when you're stressed? This has a way of bringing people back to the purpose, even in the midst of stressed or overwhelmed, maybe burnt out kind of a group. 98% of my work is with private organizations and events. Once a year in December, I host, and this is the first year that I'm hosting this Connector Summit, where I'm inviting a whole bunch of people who are involved with starting meetings or hosting meetings in some capacity together into one place where I'm gonna walk you through a much deeper dive. So I'm not gonna explain all this in the video. There's a link below. Picture says 1,000 words. If you like this video even a little bit, you will be obsessively in love with the summit that I've designed and will be hosting in December. I'm Chad, have an awesome day.